Yeah. That static is from them, right?
Well, sure. We're close to the base. He tells me, I asked him one time, I guess always, what do you see, Pat? And he said, Dennis, I'm going to tell you one time and I'll never tell you again. I get into a plane that has no windows. If you notice, when you take those pictures, all those windows are white. They're locked down. They're totally whited out with like metal gates. He said, I get into a plane with no windows, and we fly off and we land about an hour later, and we land on a runway, and the next thing I know, they connect a tube. You know, when you get off of the plane, you walk through a tunnel to the airport, you guys, but you know they're not, you can look between where they're connected, right?
Yeah.
He said they connect a tube to the port on the door. It's a tube, like a vacuum tube. And we walk through a tube which has no visual outside the tube, so you can't see outside of it. And the other end of the tube is connected to a port in a building. He says the building is bigger than a soccer field, like 3 football fields. It holds huge jet airplanes. And we go into that building, and then they lock the door down, and the building has no windows whatsoever. So I go in a plane with no windows through a tunnel that I can't see out of into a building with no windows, and then when I go home, I reverse it. So I see nothing, and on the way home I see nothing. So you don't have to ask me again, Dennis, because that's all I see. Is the inside of a plane, inside of a tube, and inside of a hangar building where there's a lot of planes. And that's all I ever see.
Wow.
He told me that's what I see. Because you don't see anything. And like I said, he flies out there 4 or 5 days a week.
And he's retired from them.
Oh, he just retired last year. Now he told me $30 an hour. He always had a smile on his face. And usually he said during the winter, at that elevation, it's usually really windy, or it's rainy or sleety or snowy. They can't fly back. In that building where they fix the aircraft, on the other wall, they have miniature little apartments, like with a stove, a bed, and a refrigerator. And if you can't fly back, you have to stay overnight there. Okay? Now, if you stay overnight, you're on the clock. 24 hours times 30.
Nice.
You do the math. Now, he always tells me his wife, when he leaves in the morning, his wife comes over and says, honey, I love you and I hope I don't see you tonight. Because that's what, $800?
Yeah.
Close.
Some hefty overtime.
And he said, honestly, Dennis, usually 2 or 3 nights during the winter, I don't fly back.
Wow.
Because you can't, because it's too dangerous. Because of the bad weather. Up where they're at, they get a lot of high winds because they're in those mountain ranges you can't see.
Yeah, and I'm sure,
That's awesome.
Hey, anyway, the only reason he retired after all these years is that he's to the age where it's too heavy to lift up the parts of the machine, for the jet engines. After 30 years of doing that, it's time to stop doing it.
Sure.
Let the young guys come in. And every time I've seen Pat, he's got the biggest smile on his face, man. He loved that job.